Bishop, if I could. First of all, I'd like to outline 4 things. The purpose of bringing this up, asking for some clarity, addressing my concerns, and asking for an affirmation. I don't see this as if this is not a notice of motion, and I don't really see it as an item of new business. I really see it as a point of privilege, but Mr. Godden tells me that that's not point of order either, so whatever it's called, I just want to make some comments. The first thing is, I would like to seek some clarity about the future of the development at 603 First Street Southeast by Cambridge Investments. The second thing I'd like to do is briefly express my concerns related to this project. The Cambridge Investments project, a project this council universally encouraged, suddenly appears to be seriously jeopardized, if not lost altogether. I have read and listened to the news articles and reports. Most of those happened while I was on holidays, but they were forwarded to me by many people who live in this community. And I'm personally incredibly concerned about the apparent loss of this development. I've spoken with Cambridge about this, and my understanding is that, yes, this is a business development, absolutely. But it's also a bit of a labor of commitment to our community by that developer. And it's a bit of a fine balance because of that. Now, with all due respect, Mr. Mayor, I recognize you have the right to change your mind, as we all do, and reconsider any thing we've discussed or a decision we've made. But I don't understand why an indication was not made earlier before Cambridge invested considerable dollars, staff time, and effort into the development of this project. And as I indicated earlier, this was a fine balance. I talked about it being a fine balance, and what happened, in my estimation, is that that balance was tipped and jeopardized by the comments that were made, and probably lost because of it. As I said, I'm very concerned about that. It's like a kernel of doubt, and you know what happens with a kernel of corn, if you will, a kernel of doubt that when nourished, it grows and it flourishes, and in this case, it probably chokes out the project itself. And so, for me, I'm incredibly disappointed because I saw this as, sure, it had its challenges, it had its pitfalls, and it had its benefits, but for me, the benefits far overtook the challenges. And I personally would hope that other council members will make some comments, but I'd like to hear an affirmation that this council affirm their support for a development of this nature on this site that ultimately will create vibrancy, greater utilization and traffic in our downtown core, and economic benefit to our entire community. Thank you.
Well, the first question that you asked was about the standing. I think the CAO can maybe speak about this because land and property is fall under his responsibility.
To the best of my knowledge, and I checked just before the council meeting, we have not heard from Mr. McNally officially. We've been trying to contact him, but we have not heard officially what his intentions are. I believe the city solicitor can confirm we have a signed agreement, both parties have signed. So we're just waiting to hear what the status is.
Alderman Kelly?
Thank you, Your Worship. We passed the motion improving the development unanimously in terms of the 7 who were here. I haven't heard that anybody was prepared to change their mind. I have another issue I would like to address, though, Your Worship, and that is that I understand that you made comments on CBC radio for all of Southern Alberta to hear that an alderman had acted improperly in this process, and that the activities of that alderman caused you concern. I believe those comments, I'm sure of this because I saw it on Chat TV, you reiterated the comment there as well. Improper behavior of an alderman according to the Municipal Government Act, is grounds for removal from council. So what I'm getting at, Your Worship, is the charge of an alderman acting improperly is exceptionally serious one. In my 29 years, going on 30 years of council, I have never heard a mayor or another member of council make such an allegation or a statement. And the question I have for you, Your Worship, is a simple one. Which one of us are you talking about?
Thank you, and I will answer this as soon as I get all the other questions. Alderman Dumanowski.
The Municipal Government Act is very clear. Most of city business, and it rightfully so, belongs in the public domain right here around this table. But there are some exceptions: personnel, legal, negotiations, the likes of land and union otherwise. This group of individuals around the table today have spent considerable time, never mind staff time, for at least a year on this negotiation. We appreciated the challenge that came with it and some of the public scrutiny that would come with that. But we were all steadfast, unanimous in our decision to move forward. And we had Cambridge come and make presentations. We've done all these things. I'm seriously at a loss of words because of the potential loss of this development. I've heard from numerous people in the community, some of whom who were opposed to the dollar sale, but once they learned through the public exercise of dialoguing with others or calling their aldermen or reading what the media printed, came to understand what this could mean and would mean for Medicine Hat as a whole, not only downtown and its revitalization. Mr. McNally and Cambridge and the whole team were putting a lot on the line, and as I recall at one point in the media, Mr. McNally saying, you know, he's never had to experience anything like this because of him putting not only his professional but his financial name on the line. Nonetheless, he believed in this project, and so did we. I'm very concerned, and again, as Alderman Friesen said, Your Worship, you have every right to change your mind. I've done that in time, but when it comes to the integrity of something as significant as this, I'm very concerned about the process that this city follows, this council follows, because it will, speaking of private development, it not only leaves a bad taste in, perhaps, and I'm not speaking for Cambridge, but I can't imagine anything but sour taste in their mouth because of that. But ultimately, the other developers who are wishing and wanting to do business in Medicine Hat from feeling that they can trust this council and this organization in negotiation, honest negotiation. A lot of money, time, effort has been expended not only on the city side, but Cambridge's side to get it where it was. And so I guess my parting comment is that I'm extremely disappointed that late comments perhaps may have been in pass to this being developed. And I'm hoping, as Alderman Friesen said, we can endorse perhaps at the end of this discussion today this project unanimously again, so that Mr. McNally and Cambridge can move forward.